Okay, this is just a quick video looking at the social and environmental benefits of multinational corporations. So one of the main benefits of multinational corporations is this move towards what we call the fair trade movement. And the fair trade movement was all about workers being exploited in certain nations. So workers in developing nations were being exploited for their primary products. So for example, the cocoa beans for chocolate, coffee, sugar. Some multinational corporations were taking advantage of their scarce resources and taking advantage of the fact that these countries weren't able to manufacture and turn them into final products. And therefore fair trade is this response where producers of primary agricultural products in developing countries receive a fair price for their products. So rather than receiving a very low and sometimes unfair price, it's all about trying to make sure that these companies receive a fair amount for what they're trying to sell. And that's what the fair trade movement is all about. It's all about trying to improve the living standards of impoverished farmers in developing countries and reduce global inequality or increase global equality. So the fair trade movement has been one of the main benefits of multinational corporations in recent times because they've had this big shift to providing fair trade by making sure that farmers receive the right amounts for their goods and services and an approach to a really fair trade with developing nations. So fair trade provides a fair price for goods and services, making sure the producers of products in developing countries are remunerated fairly. Companies claiming to support fair trade must also provide safe working conditions and commit to environmentally sustainable production. So fair trade is not just about providing the right price to these developing countries, it's also making sure that if they are going to set up operations in developing countries, that they provide a safe work environment and that they do conduct their operations in an environmentally sustainable way. Multinational companies are less likely to use child labour, which is good because it can mean that students can stay in school for longer and therefore develop the education they require for future success. If multinational companies do indeed increase the incomes in the host country, so if they are able to generate more income for that country that they're operating in, this can allow that country to have a higher tax base, and they can use that tax base to increase funding towards education, healthcare and other programs. So if multinational companies can generate a lot of income tax and company tax for these developing nations, then these developing nations can use that money to improve their healthcare and their education systems and therefore improve the social welfare of society. There's also been community pressure on multinational corporations to act in an ethical fashion, which has again helped them to become more ethical in their practices. Many multinational corporations have come under increased pressure from stakeholders to improve their environmental and social record. So this includes in customers who increasingly want to purchase products that are environmentally friendly and have that tick of approval. So basically, when summing up some of the social benefits are that they are conducting fair trade, so they're starting to develop better relationships with developing countries where they're giving them a fair price for their products. They're less likely to use child labour. They are more likely to develop, because of the amount of income they're generating, help to develop better healthcare and better education and things like that in developing nations. Thank you.